AI is forcing the workforce to take a good hard look at their skill set and to see what they need to learn to even stay relevant in the future. But there might be one segment of the workforce, one function that might actually be impervious to the impact of AI, and that is the sales teams. And why I say that is because of the common belief that people buy from people. Or am I wrong? Let's close the loop on this. Joining me on Close the Loop is Darshan Mujumdar. Darshan is the India head of Sixth Sense. Darshan, welcome to Close the Loop.
Thank you.
So, Darshan, people buy from people. So, should sales really be worrying about the advent of AI? Like, it's not fun.
So, the answer is a little bit nuanced, but I would say I don't see anything to worry.
As probably a cousin of the sales team, as a marketer, there is a lot of talk about, because we have a MarTech stack and there's a lot of data-driven decisions being taken already.
Right.
And there are some parts of marketing which are likely to be automated as compared to, and we are, I think marketing and sales is usually part of a growth function.
Right.
But why do you feel that sales is sort of not going to be impacted at all by AI?
As you said, there are every aspect of your sales and marketing is now getting impacted in the sense the way you would approach a problem traditionally is no more the most optimal or the most effective way. At the same time, the AI is not offering a solution which is across the board. You have processes which have maybe 10 or 15 key points which are like milestones, and at each level you have AI enabled support or AI enabled better decision making, and at that point the sales or marketing teams are interacting with AI and then going ahead with their jobs.
Right.
So it's a mixed situation right now. Some of the stuff that we used to do earlier through through a combination of technology and human insights, that is being done by AI, especially when we are talking about big data. Right. And some of the things which we could never do earlier are now being done with the help of AI. So it's kind of empowering some of the teams. So I would say it's a lot happening right now, and it's very interesting phase. And probably in the next few years, we'll see where some of the areas settle down as opposed to where the disruption moves forward.
Right. But if you look at the normal sales cycle or the process that a sales rep follows, like there is a CRM already in place, and the CRM already integrates with a lot of tools that enrich data, that already give you signals that your buyers are searching for you or looking for you, so the likelihood of closing is. So there's already a certain level of, I wouldn't say, there is some level of predictability that sales leaders are trying to bring into the system. Do you think it's going to go beyond that, and AI is going to tell a sales rep that I know you've chosen to work on this account, but I don't think that's going to.
That's an interesting use case you brought up. Like that's one specific segment of your entire life cycle of sales where sales teams definitely need help. Let's take an example when if you're a salesperson, you get a lead. And a lead is thrown at you literally. That's how the salespeople see it, because they lack, a lot of times they lack context and all that. So it's important for salespeople to know what would be their initial pitch. All that context can be easily provided to the salespeople using your either LLM-based models, where a lot of data of communication or marketing data is fed into it, and it distills out some of the key insights that salespeople can take forward. There are sales software which will give every morning a certain set of priority activities that they can focus on, and that's absolutely based on the customer data or the insights derived from their activities. Some of that data is third-party data, so all that under the hood information which humanly is not possible to access, AI is making that available.
But just stepping beyond AI, like, do you see sales as being efficient users of sales tech?
So the tech is most of the time under the hood. What they're exposed to are the
CRM basically.
Yeah, the CRM and the other software
Few
that
things,
are
yeah,
helping,
like a
right?
content management system
Exactly.
or sales enablement system.
Enablement systems
Right.
and marketing automation platforms
Yeah.
or stuff like that, or
Mhm.
CRMs for sales particularly. What they are looking for in that is the insight that is useful for them that they can take ahead with. Updating the systems and all, those things can be automated, and they are being automated slowly because those signals are again fed into the system, right? As you capture more data of your customer behavior, let's say they are visiting your website more often, kind of defines a certain maturity, right? And AI systems are capable of now gathering all that data and correlating it to a certain maturity stage. So I think over the time, all these manual or operational activities probably will take a backseat in terms of the day-to-day job of a sales guy, and more focus will be on the human interaction where the real value is added to the whole process.
So let's talk about the human interaction. Like we assume that all companies would be selling in a way that the sales rep is sort of meeting or even talking to a customer. But you also have another segment called product-led growth. Most of the SaaS companies are headed in that direction where they want the product to be the hero. A lot of the demos and the conversations are kind of baked into the product itself. So do you see that transcending into the traditional world of maybe enterprise sales?
Several requirements which are peripheral to the nature of the product, like there are security needs, there are compliances, right? As you deal with bigger enterprises,
Right.
that complexity grows. And then there are different structures you interact with. So there is a certain amount of high touch, high feel requirement there.
Today's sales rep, be it a small company, big company, if that person has to be even knowledgeable about AI, what are some of the areas that you would recommend that he or she learns?
There are certain operational aspects that AI is taking over, and then there's data. One of the skill I feel it's going to get more and more important is how you understand data. The ability of a salesperson to process that data that your systems are giving you and connecting it to the the questions that are being thrown at you. I think that's a probably more of base requirement, but at the same time, I think more people are aware of it, they become more effective working with such. And then there is obviously now with large language models, you're getting a lot of content help. A lot of now emails are being customized by using the LLM models and ChatGPT kind of solutions, especially with sales, where you're dealing with a variety of cultures sometimes. Yeah. You're into international business.
The communication bit, like
the communication bit, right?
Because there's no end of salespeople saying, give me an email to send to XYZ.
Right.
I mean, now I don't think those requests should come at all.
Having a baseline understanding of what AI actually is and what it can deliver, that is important. So principally, what is AI, right? How is it deriving an outcome, whether it's processing data and classifying it into different areas and then giving you insights through those classifications. Having a basic understanding of how AI works makes you a better consumer of what it has to offer.
So Darshan, if you look at the typical sales process today, most companies have a 5-stage, 6, 7-stage sales process. Are there certain phases where AI is playing a more dominant role today as compared to in the past? And are there areas which will get more of AI's involvement in the future?
So yeah, there are specific, I can think of a few areas where I see there is a wider use and acceptance of AI-enabled solutions. The products are being built at a rapid scale and pace these days. And a lot of sales teams are finding it challenging to keep up with the latest releases and the features and their nuances. So there are chatbot kind of solutions which help the salespeople to kind of deal with some of these questions. Which on the fly, right? Because there could be ambiguity in certain areas. There are some areas where the products are being worked upon, and then they do not want to commit things which are not yet into the play. So even from the status standpoint, right? Because we are talking about a large enterprise apps that are being built on the go, whether your product can do X or not. Like sometimes there are pointed questions, and sales teams tend to deflect them whereas they would ideally want to answer them directly.
On the spot.
On the
Instead of
spot.
saying I'll get back to you, which is like the worst thing.
That's the worst thing, right? So all those kind of scenarios that sales teams have to deal with, and they kind of learn to deal with it over time. These enablement solutions are going to be giving them a lot of pointed.
So sales
answers.
enablement is one area. Because a salesperson's world is usually the CRM. Is that all going to be?
So different solutions, if you look at larger CRMs like Salesforce, right, they offer a lot of integrations. So specialized providers like ours, like we plug into their system, we expose the relevant data. So the sales team don't have to kind of switch systems. Of course, there is a certain amount of technical involvement to set up the whole.
What about sales ops? I think we've spoken about sales teams a lot, but of course, an important part of the sales team is always the sales ops team, because I think they are very key players in a any conversation where the sales leader is having them by their side. Do you believe that they are the ones who need to probably technically upskill themselves the most to incorporate AI into sales management?
Sales ops is becoming more and more important as the systems become more complex, and they definitely are pivotal in some of the adoption and usage of the modern systems. So they definitely need to be aware of how AI is impacting certain activities. Some of the mundane stuff is something they have to figure out how they replace it and identify where they can really add value. It's as a constant evolving arena right now, I would say. Some of the areas where I see, in closing especially.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about closing. Closing is
the sales guys, if you don't talk about closing, you're
ABC,
not.
Always be closing, right? Yeah.
One area where I think AI can help, and I've seen some solutions in that area are dynamic pricing. Pricing impacts your closure significantly, more than probably what we could imagine.
Like one of the things is price approvals, right? So
Yeah.
do you think that can be?
Exactly. So you don't have to there's no lag between who you are selling to, and then take that information, contextualize it for approval process and get back. Some of the AI systems can really look into your past data and process this information on the fly and give some sort of indicative numbers that can help the sales guy to move in that direction.
And if there's one tip that you would like to give to the sales reps out there about some of these things, what they can do in 2024, what is like the first thing that they should do to sort of get into the AI scheme of things, like the other functions are getting in? What would be that?
Start using it.
Perfect. So thanks, Darshan. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope that all the sales and marketing folks, also people who work in growth functions, tuning in, I'm pretty sure that they'll benefit from the views that you've shared.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here.